Perfectionism is one of the quickest ways to kill your creativity. If you are feeling creatively stuck or you're having resistance to creating, the moment that you give yourself permission to create something bad is the moment that is going to unlock your creativity in ways that you cannot even possibly imagine. If you're new here, my name is JC and I am 7 weeks into the Artist Way journey, which is the farthest I have ever come in this book. And if you've never heard of the Artist Way, it's basically a 12-week program to discover or reconnect back to your creativity. This week is all about recovering a sense of connection. It covers themes like perfectionism, intuition, and jealousy. So many things that keep us stuck. Julia Cameron, the author of this book, defines perfectionism as a refusal to let yourself move ahead. Perfectionism to you might look like you decide you want to start a project, but then you spend hours researching the right way to do it. You write one paragraph and then spend hours rewriting it before moving on. You take a photo and then immediately delete it because it's not as good as what you see on Instagram. I felt so called out by this chapter. I'll have an idea in my head, but then I'll self-edit it so many times that I don't even feel like making it anymore. I'll record something and then immediately want to reshoot it because I messed up my words or I don't like the way that it came out. For perfectionists, there is no first draft. Everything has to be final quality from the start. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts this week, Soul Gum by Victoria Hutchins. She reminded me of this part of the creative process by Rick Rubin, where he says there's 3 separate parts to this process. There's the creation process, the refining process, and the critiquing process. And so often we try to do all of these things at once, which does a huge disservice to whatever we're creating. Because when we're in the creation process, it requires a very different mindset than when we're in the refining process and in the critiquing process. And each of these parts requires space to breathe and needs time. The part of your brain that comes up with ideas and wants to dream big about how they're going to put them into the world is different than the part of your brain that is going through video footage and editing every tiny little pause out. It's so much more expansive rather than that narrow focus. And we need both of them. Both of them help to make the project or the deliverable what it is. But when we try to do all of them at the same time, our little perfectionist brain kicks in a bit too early and probably hinders some of the earlier expansive ideation parts of the process. Okay, so if you were to spread out these 3 things, how would it actually look like? I really like the use of setting timers because it makes me just get whatever I'm thinking out on the page. So if you're in the creation process, maybe set a timer for 20 or 25 minutes and just let yourself be completely free. Write everything out. Let yourself come up with any idea. Really throw away all the rules. Then let it sit. Maybe go for a walk and come back to it later. Or if you have time, let it sit for a few days and come back to it. And then you can look at it from a more objective lens rather than feeling so closely tied to your work. Because I don't know about you, but when I create something, I'm either one of 2 ways. I feel so critical towards it and I judge every little part of it, or I absolutely love it and I feel so attached to it and I feel very sensitive to any sort of negative feedback towards it. Both of those frames of mind prevent me from seeing it in a clear way. After you've had some space, you can go back and refine and edit and switch things around, and then the critiquing process comes last. This is where you maybe ask for feedback or you might do a test of something. When you have these parts as separate entities, I think it helps us get unstuck. I have been thinking a lot about this series, especially this week in terms of perfectionism and for doing things perfectly. When I started this series, one of the biggest blocks that I was having was around YouTube and my beliefs around being a YouTuber and my ability to create longer content. I wanted to make YouTube videos for so long and I just kept blocking myself. I felt such resistance to creating them. So with the Artist Way, one of my biggest goals was to get past that censor and push past the discomfort I was having and to really do the thing that I wanted to do, which has been amazing because for 7+ weeks, I have posted every single week on YouTube and it has really helped me get over this resistance to filming that I had at the time. But what I have noticed is that putting so much energy into filming and creating for YouTube is actually taking away from my own personal Artist Ways journey. If you've ever done something like the Artist Way, you know that it's basically a part-time job and it really requires a lot of attention and dedication to get what you want out of it. But since each week I am filming this video and then editing the last video and coming up with titles and thumbnails and descriptions, plus all my short form content, I feel like I'm not dedicating the amount of time and headspace that I want to towards the artist way. And I feel like I'm honestly kind of half-assing it, and it's making me feel like a bit of a fraud, if you will, because I'm like talking about the artist way to you guys every week and putting so much energy into these videos. But I feel like because of that, I'm not doing the artist way for myself to the fullest extent. Ever since I was little, I was taught not to be a quitter and to finish the things that you started. And I realized that maybe I want to stop filming this artist way YouTube series so that I can reclaim the last couple of weeks just for me and really put my whole focus into them. But there was these voices in my head being like, no, you have to finish. You said you were going to finish. You have to post every single week. If you stop in the middle, then it's this unfinished project that you gave up on. While I was thinking about perfection this week and also just reflecting on some of the questions from earlier chapters, like what would you do if it weren't too selfish? Really developing that sense of listening to your own wants and needs and not suppressing them in benefit of other people. And then I realized this is an area where I am suppressing what I actually want in benefiting other people, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging and because I committed to it. I just realized that I had created such rigid rules that I needed to continue doing the series, even if it wasn't bringing me what I wanted. The most successful people know when it's time to pivot and when it's time to try something new. And I really love that I have developed a more experimental mindset where I can try things and give myself permission to change my mind. So with that all being said, there has been a couple of YouTube videos that I have felt so compelled and excited to make in the past couple of weeks now that I'm in the groove of filming for YouTube, but I've kind of said no to those ideas because I'm so focused on the Artist Way project and the timelines of the Artist Way project. It's beginning to not feel as fun for me to make, and I really can just sense that I want to be creating other types of content for YouTube. I tried to get a sense on Instagram the other day of how many of you guys were doing this along with me, or how many of you guys just like to watch the videos and aren't doing it, because I wanted to know if these videos were really helping people stay accountable each week. Based on the data in the poll and based on just my own personal desires, this is going to be the last weekly Artist Way video that I film. I'll probably even talk a little bit more about it on Instagram now that I'm not going to be filming weekly. Instead, once I'm done with the whole 12 weeks, I'll kind of film a wrap-up reflection video of how the last few weeks went, so you can just watch it all at once in that video. I have a lot of exciting ideas for what is coming next. Specifically, I just absolutely love vlogging, and it's really fun and fulfilling for me to create. And the next couple of weeks, I'm doing some travel to Copenhagen and Greece, and the idea of filming travel vlogs there just makes me feel so excited. So I'm going to focus on creating those videos instead, and also just give myself time to fully relax while I'm away, because while I love creating content so much, I feel like I've been putting so much pressure on myself to stick to very specific dates that I need to be posting, and I was getting so stressed thinking about how I was going to film, edit, and upload so much footage while I was away and didn't have good Wi-Fi and didn't have my normal working space. So honestly, this is just making me feel so much better. I feel very at peace with this decision, and I think that you guys will love the content that I'm creating instead. If you have been watching the series from the beginning, I just want to say thank you so much, because your support in me getting started with YouTube has been so encouraging, and I really, really, really appreciate you being here on this cozy corner of the internet. I have so many ideas about what I want to film next, with the change of the seasons and the back to school energy that September brings, and craft projects that I'm doing, and travel vlogs and day in the life vlogs. I just feel really confident to take those projects on now that I have this as the foundation. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that if you're doing the Artist Way, that you are getting everything that you want out of it. I know that it's so eye-opening to see what comes up, and I just think it's such a great way to prioritize your creativity. I think Miss Julia Cameron would approve of this decision, and most importantly, I approve of this decision. So I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for being here. This officially ends the weekly Artist Way series. But like I said, when I'm done with the 12 weeks, I will film a reflection video for you guys, and a lot of exciting videos coming soon. So make sure you're subscribed so that you will be in the know when those are posted. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night or week whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you so soon.